So I've had a few people ask how we make our sourdough bread. So we'll go over it very quickly. So this is my starter that I actually put into the fridge for a little bit yesterday because I didn't feel like making anything yesterday. Pulled it back out this morning and let it come back to temperature, and it should be all right. So for our recipe, we use 206 grams or so of starter. All right. Oh, that's a little bit too much. It's a 222, which is all right. It'll just work quicker, but we'll take a little bit of it back just to stick with the recipe. There's 218, 217, 205. That's close enough to 206. That's 206. To it, we add 500 milligrams, 500 grams of water, which would be one bottle, but this bottle's cold. I don't want to use cold water, so I used filtered. All right. And next, I mix this up. Chopsticks. I like using chopsticks. So just turn it milky, kind of break it up so that it gets evenly distributed in the dough. All right, that's good enough. Flour, I pre-measured it, 812 grams. Add that in. Mix it up. And I'm going to have to get my hands in this. All right. Now it's going to feel a little dry, but as you work it, it's going to start feeling a little wet. Just don't add anything. I'm probably going to fast forward this. All right, now it's starting to get sticky. That's all right. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. And 18 grams of salt. Just work that in. Let me get a scraper real quick. Just get some of this off my hands. Scrape the bowl down. So this is what it looks like right now. It's kind of wet, kind of sticky, but don't add any flour. I'm going to cover this and let it rest for about 15 minutes. All right, so it's been right about 15 minutes. That's what it still looks like. What I'm going to do is transfer it over to this tray. With wet hands. All right, this is still going to be pretty sticky. It's not going to stick so much to wet hands. So this is going to be your, there's stretch and fold, there's slap or stretch and slap or whatever. But I find what builds strength the quickest is just slamming it onto the table. And I roll it back up. Turn it, slam it again, roll it back up, and I find that this builds strength quicker. So I don't know what you would call that. Slam and roll. And you can already tell it's getting smoother. Look at that. How strong that is. Pow, 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 pow. So you want to do, I'm doing the first one at 15 minutes and then 3 more, half an hour apart. And it'll get stronger and smoother each time. And by the end, it should not stick to the hands at all. All right, we'll do this last one. Roll it up. Cover it and do 30 minutes. All right, it's been 30 more minutes. I wet my hands. So another set. It's feeling nice. This is what it's starting to look like. All right. 30 more minutes. All right, another 30 minutes. This will be the third set. That's how it looks. Looking good. I might not even need to do the fourth one. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. Okay, this is the last one. After this, I'm going to let it ferment, and that's going to go on for several hours. When it's ready, it's going to be nice and jiggly. It's not going to really stick to the container, and at that point we'll be ready to split it into two. This is 2 loaves here. Split it into 2 and let it do the final proofing, either in the refrigerator or just out on the counter. So this is ready. See, that's what it looks like. All right, that'll go for a few hours. All right, it's been a few hours, and I think it's done. Let's see. See how jiggly it is? So, gonna dump it out onto this tray. Put a little bit of flour on. And it should flop right out without sticking. There it goes. There it goes. Flop. All right. Now, I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to eyeball half. Looks about right. Now, this one looks like it might be a little bit smaller. Whatever. So there are many ways I saw of shaping. And this is just one of them that I saw. Fold it up, stretch these out, fold it over, and then back over on top of itself. Same with this one. Over. Back over onto itself. Yep, this one's smaller. All right, so I'm using silicone baskets, bannetons, and I'm going to put some rice flour on to keep it from sticking. Here you go. Same with this one. Now, I don't have 2 ovals. I wish I did, because I bake these off in a loaf pan. So what I've been doing is just using the round one. And when I cover them to proof, I just kind of cinch it down with the bag a little bit to make that shape. So I like to proof these in the refrigerator, like overnight, But I want to bake these later today. So I'm going to do it over here on the table. Maybe throw it back in the fridge for an hour or so towards the end. When it's cold, it's a lot easier to score. So yeah, I'm just going to let this sit for a few more hours just to finish proofing, and then we'll put them in the loaf pans, score them, and bake them off. All right. All right. So I think these are proofed enough. I did not end up putting it into the fridge, so they're going to be soft, but that's fine. So I'm going to tip them into a pan. Oop. I should have done this in the tray. All right, so now they're in the tray. I'm going to go ahead and score them. And after I score them, I'm going to bake them off inverted with the inverted tray pan, so that it will trap the steam inside, which will allow it to rise better. All right, so how do we want to do this? Let's do one like this. Then go one this way. All right. And this one, let's just go simple, right down the middle. All right. I'm not gonna preheat the oven. I'm just gonna put it right in, and then set it to 450 for 25 minutes, and then another 30 minutes at 425 uncovered. All right, we'll be back when they're done. All right, here's the bread. It's done. Or here's the bread. It's done. I'm gonna put. You hear that crackling? It was crackling more when I first pulled it out, but that's because the skin on these cracking as it cools and shrinks. Yeah, hopefully you can hear it. Well, there they are, loaves of bread, and I will cut them. I'll cut them after they cool for at least an hour. At least an hour. Not too bad. Yeah, maybe. So I forgot to turn my mic on for this part. These are the 2 loaves out of the oven after they're cooled for at least 3 hours, actually. That's a lot of rice flour. I don't normally use that much. So we're going to cut one open and take a look at the crumb. So there it is. Not too bad. Not too bad. Oh, the squishy test. Now I think I want to cut a slice off. And I will be tasting it. It's pretty good. Yeah, sorry for this uneven cut. But there it is. It's got a pretty nice chew to it. Soft on the inside, crusty on the outside. Pretty good. So, just to recap, what I used was 206 grams of starter, 500 grams of water, 812 grams of bread flour, 18 grams of salt, and then I mixed it up, kneaded it, and then after 15 minutes, I did the first set of stretch and folds or whatever you do, and then 3 more every 30 minutes after that. After that, I let it finish fermenting. And once it's done fermenting, I split it in half, shape my 2 loaves, put them into the bannetons, and then wait until they're done proofing. Sometimes I like to put them in the fridge. These ones I did just on the counter, which seemed to work fine. Then I baked it at 450, covered 450 for 25 minutes, and then uncovered for additional 30 minutes at 425. Then let it cool for at least an hour or 2 before cutting into it. And that's it. That's how I make it. I've been making this bread since December. So what is that, like 4 months? About that. So I learned a lot from the internet and from family who've been baking sourdough much longer than I have. And I think it worked out pretty good. Give it a try.